Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
I'm Rachel Dahl on Nevada Newsmakers. Today we have Tom Polikalas, who's the Director of Western States Engagement for the Beneficial Electrification League of Nevada. Join us for an all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
Retail's impact on Nevada's economy? Enormous. 8,600 businesses, large and small, employing 145,000 workers. And last fiscal year, retail paid tax on nearly $60 billion in sales. We're the Retail Association of Nevada. We support retail, we help it grow, and we mean business.
RANNV.org.
Before the masks, before the distancing, before the world changed, UMC was ready. Our response to COVID-19 began before the crisis did, with our own team of infectious disease experts who've spent their careers planning for this moment. With a pandemic response plan, we'd practiced again and again, and by blazing new trails in large-scale testing, including every patient we admit. Always ready. UMC.
The Nevada Builders Alliance has been protecting the interests of the construction industry for over 50 years. Our programs save members thousands of dollars every year and allow them to provide much-needed benefits to their employees. Our industry also allows Nevada to grow. If you're thinking about a career in the construction industry, reach out. And if you haven't thought of a career in construction, what are you waiting for? We are the Nevada Builders Alliance.
Nevada Newsmakers Studio is located at the headquarters of the Nevada Trucking Association. Motion and purpose are a truck's greatest virtue.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad, a no-holds-barred political forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
We're here on Nevada Newsmakers today. I'm Rachel Dahl, sitting in for Sam Shad. And we're here today with Tom Polikalas, who's with the Beneficial Electrification League. Like the Justice League, only better.
Thank you.
Tom is the Director of the Western States Engagement, and we're glad to have you on the show today.
Well, thank you, Rachel. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, so tell us about the Beneficial Electrification League.
Beneficial electrification is a very timely topic. If you've been to the gas pump lately, you'll see that we're kind of back into an energy crisis, not only in the United States, but in the world. So beneficial electrification relates to the use of electricity for end uses that would range from transportation. We're getting more and more familiar with electric cars, to using electricity to heat buildings, using advanced technologies such as heat pumps. And now we're seeing a really broad array of technologies, even in farming equipment, mining equipment, electric lawnmowers. And the term beneficial relates to 4 criteria that we have, so that it's not just a surge of electricity, but electricity that's cost effective.
Right.
One of our, as we promote electricity, we want to make sure that it helps consumers, right? We all want dollars and cents. We want to save money. Secondly, we want to reduce emissions associated with energy use. We also want to improve the consumer experience. Many people actually prefer the driving experience in an electric car as compared to what they drove before.
Right.
And then finally, we want to make sure that as we advance the use of electric technologies, that the grid remains robust and resilient, and that other ratepayers also receive benefits. So with those 4 criteria, we consider that any measure that advances all of those, that's a beneficial electrification measure. So it really does produce, to be redundant, benefits.
So yeah, that was interesting to see that there's actually the criteria. So when you're talking about beneficial electrification, I'm really curious about the infrastructure. So if I had an electric car and I'm driving on a road trip, do we have the infrastructure to recharge
It's coming, and,
yeah.
and thanks to the Nevada legislature has been very on top of this topic on the transportation sector. SB 448, sponsored by Senator Chris Brooks out of Las Vegas,
Yeah.
was a premier energy bill, really addressed charging infrastructure, working with stakeholders from NV Energy to a number of other, from environmental groups to business groups and others. But SB 448 provided for $100 million ballpark for investments in that electric infrastructure. So those types of programs are in process of rolling out. NV Energy is doing a great job and looking to provide that charging infrastructure not only for cars, but also taking a look at what we may need in schools, because electric school buses are a really cool topic and something that can help our schools save money.
Talk about the electric buses, because that's really fascinating, the amount of money that's available for school districts to go after the buses. But then what's the project that you're working on? Tell us about that.
So the Beneficial Electrification League is a national organization. We have a number of utilities that help launch the organization, working with the Natural Resources Defense Council, so kind of very broad ranged. And thanks to legislation that was passed this past fall, the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, $5 billion is coming down the pipeline in order to incentivize electric school buses. So part of what we're doing, our message is we really want to raise the awareness that this funding is coming available. There's also a desire to see those electric school buses deployed in rural Nevada, rural America, essentially. And part of my job is to let the school districts in Nevada know that this funding is available. So the electric school bus is a fairly new technology. Some of our school districts in the state have been working on this and pursuing it, from Washoe County and Clark County, and Carson has done great work in getting some buses are on the cusp of hitting the roads. But this new funding really provides an opportunity, and we've been advocating that the US EPA is administering those funds. The rules will be coming out in late April, late this month. And so we're coordinating a forum on May 9th that will apprise people of the rules and the regulations so that we can get our school districts in line, or at least teach them how to apply for the funding, because minimally, it gives them the opportunity to demonstrate and experience the technology. We're advocating for basically 100% funding, so the schools don't need to come out of pocket. Even with a 20% match, that can still pose problems for school districts. So that's been the position of the Beneficial Electrification League and our electric school bus initiative. We're really trying to help the schools get that resource, and our experience across the country is they're performing really, really well, helping school districts. And go ahead on.
So do we have any on the road yet in Nevada?
They're coming. Clark County and Carson City and Washoe County have been working on this, and not from this particular pool of funding. There have been other sources from various places, including the Volkswagen settlement and some other opportunities. But this is a much, much larger scale investment in electric school buses, and something that I think, talking about timely with what fuel prices are going now, those districts across the country that already have school buses are saving thousands of dollars a year on their fuel and operating costs. And now we've got a chance to really ramp that up across the country. And because gas prices and diesel prices have gone up so much, the savings are just so much greater because of that increase in fuel prices.
So for those districts who in the past have had difficulty going after that funding and may want to go try again, you guys are available to help them
we
go
want
through
to
that
give the
process.
information to what the process is, and also answer their concerns. We know that in any new technology, some of the questions that we've seen across the country are, well, what do you do when it's 15 degrees below zero? How do they perform? Or can they climb the hills around Reno? Those types of, so we're seeing experience in other school districts across the country, from Minnesota to Colorado, and the electric school buses are performing extremely well. There's a district in Colorado that put it on their toughest route, climbing up through the Rocky Mountains, and the torque of the electric motor is no problem. It's performing best, and it's become the favorite bus of the drivers and of the kids.
I love new technology, so that's always really
and it's a great educational tool also.
For sure. I guess that's true too. You had mentioned before we go to break, we'll make sure to touch on the conference. So May 9th in Las Vegas is the conference. So talk about that.
So we're working with kind of key stakeholders, right? If Utilities such as those in rural Nevada. We're pleased to be working with the Nevada Rural Electric Association, Valley Electric, and then of course NV Energy, which serves most of the state. So those are some of our sponsors. We do have others, and we really want to leverage the resources that the utilities have in their communities to be an information conduit. So that's part of bringing people together from the business community, the utility community, to get this type of information out, because they can do it at scale and have some communications tools. So the electric school bus initiative is one of the key topics, and maybe this is something that we can discuss later, billions of dollars more to help electrify buildings. So we talk about transportation, but the building sector is one in which there are tremendous opportunities to save energy, money, and conserve resources.
Okay. What's the name of the conference?
Electrify Nevada.
Okay.
And we're looking for, again, cost-effective opportunities to use electricity to displace fossil fuels. So it's all about economic savings and economic benefits.
It's in a really packed agenda. It's a one-day conference, but looking at the sessions, it was really fascinating what you guys are doing, and the people that you're bringing, of course, kind of the cast of characters that we've all been exposed to, but some new folks. Lucas is on there from
Rural Development.
USDA. And then there's a session on there about, they do this in Ely through RNDC all the time, retrofitting your house or...
opportunities for residential measures.
There's a whole session on that.
So. And
the heat pumps for
heat pumps,
water
and
heaters.
As we get into that, so pretty much everybody has a heat pump in their home already, because a refrigerator is a heat pump. You're using the refrigeration cycle to pull heat out of the box, right, both in the freezer and the refrigerator, and then you'll feel it on the floor, heat, it's warm. So you're moving heat from one place. You're moving heat from one place to another. So we can do that at scale for the entire building. We can either have an air source heat pump in which heat is extracted from the air, which makes a lot of sense in Las Vegas in particular, but all across Nevada. But just when you're trying to provide some cooling, if you can take heat out of the air in a building and put it into your water tank, you've accomplished two goals with one measure. So heat pumps move heat. We can do that with water heating, with space heating on cold days like today in Reno. And we can basically provide all the heating, cooling, and water heating for buildings just using electricity with extremely efficient technology that's up to 600% efficient. It's an amazing resource. So $1 you spend on electricity can then leverage up to 6 times that value because of the efficiency of the equipment that's now coming available.
So in this day and age especially, you're taking advantage of the cost of fuels to really push this idea. I would think.
No, and it's something that can really help people. I mean, that's the bottom line is, and then we had a session that really have an initiative to also help. I mean, you'll already see some high-end electric technologies in high-end homes. It's a trend, but we want to make sure that everybody can benefit from this. So there's another initiative coming up to help low and middle income homes. And we're working to integrate weatherization measures where we're making the homes just more energy efficient with these types of technologies.
It's really exciting. It's super neat. We're going to take a little break, and we'll be back with Tom in just a minute.
Ahern Rentals began as Signal Gas Station on Las Vegas Boulevard. Founder John Ahern grew the business by offering rentals. His son Don built on John's legacy, growing Ahern Rentals into the largest independently owned American rental company, with 89 locations in 30 states. Don also brought his experience and vision to equipment manufacturing with Extreme Manufacturing and Snorkel. Today, Ahern Rentals continues to bring its family values to a new generation. Learn more at ahern.com.
As you know, Reno is booming. Toll's development company is helping it grow with insightful design and development, building community with every project, adding beauty, adding excitement, emphasizing our shared humanity. Reno is becoming bigger. Toll's development is helping it become better, more livable, more enjoyable. To learn more, go to tollsdevelopment.com. tollsdevelopment.com. I'm here at the Carson Valley Inn in Minden with Joey Whitaker. Entertainment here at the Carson Valley Inn is extraordinary.
Yeah, super proud of the TJ's Corral, our outdoor venue, about 1,500 seats. We've had first-class entertainment out there. We've had Merle Haggard, we've had Chris Young, we've had Lee Brice a couple times, we've had Pat Benatar, Joan Jett, who's in the Hall of Fame. We're real proud out there, and it's just a great time. Watch CarsonValleyInn.com and grab those tickets early. It's not a long way to get away to the Carson Valley Inn.
Pro Group Management specializes in providing industries with the necessary components to satisfy and exceed workers' comp requirements. Every business has unique needs and specific regulations. Pro Group Management stays ahead of the curve, providing up-to-date services to keep your industry in top form. Discover how we simplify your tasks, improve efficiency, and reduce expense to keep you moving in a positive direction. Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
We're back on Nevada Newsmakers with Tom Polikalas. We're talking about beneficial electrification for the state of Nevada. Tom works across the country, basically, on this issue. And we're talking on break about the non-energy benefits of electrification. And that caught my eye. Of course, you think air quality, but as an economic developer, that's always fascinating. Talk about the economic development benefits of this project.
So Nevada's really well positioned to benefit from electrification across the country and across the world. When you take a look at, say, electric transportation, we're at the very beginning of the supply chain with lithium mining. So, and actually electric vehicles use more metals, and so it's not just lithium, but lithium seems to be the metal that's in vogue, and the white gold is it's being described, and the opportunity to transition the world's transportation systems to electric. So Nevada has abundant lithium resources. Just to mention, one of the lithium mines, Ioneer, is one of the sponsors of our conference to help get the word out on all kinds of benefits, including environmental benefits when we transition to electric transportation. So with that, there's the far end of the spectrum, or at the end of the life of a lithium-ion battery. Nevada is also seeing the emergence of battery recycling companies. You've got Redwood Materials and American Battery Metals, and I think there's a couple of others. So from a job creation standpoint, Nevada tends to benefit from the electrification of transportation to a significant degree just from that standpoint. And we're pleased to have Chris Sanchez of the Governor's Office of Economic Development addressing some of those issues. There's some other economic benefits that come from the savings that consumers can experience when they electrify heating and cooling systems is then spent in the local economy. So there's some multiplier effects that Nevada can benefit from there. But overall, we're looking for jobs as you replace heating systems. When you're looking to replace your water heater or your central AC and so forth, and that's you're bringing people out from local small businesses that are going to be installing a lot of these products in both homes and commercial buildings. And do you guys work with USDA a lot on, because I know they used to have some old grant programs for businesses. And as you mentioned, Lucas Ingvoldstad from the USDA Rural Development Nevada office is one of our speakers, as we have an entire session on financing opportunities. USDA has a broad range of programs from homes to business, and even some agricultural opportunities. But for the business sector in rural Nevada, there's a grant and loan program that can make some of these projects even more economical.
To transition.
So if you've got a building that's been in place for, even some of the newer buildings, there's opportunities for retrofit just because technologies advance so quickly. So the USDA's program that's called Renewable Energy for America program can incentivize renewable energy development, but also energy efficiency, ranging from high efficiency lighting to the heat pumps that we've been talking about. So great program, and delighted to have USDA as one of our panelists. We also have, there's a fairly new Nevada Clean Energy Fund that came from legislation passed a couple of sessions ago, and a new executive director. So looking at opportunities to place private capital that's looking for productive areas to go. So Kirsten Stasio, the executive director of the Nevada Clean Energy Fund. She'll be presenting on the programs that are emerging there. We also have the Nevada Governor's Office of Energy, which will be administering some of the funds that will be coming to smaller cities.
Okay.
So that's, again, we're trying to reach people that can help make this happen and get the information out. So local governments are a key audience, and they'll have some funding opportunities coming through the federal initiatives that have been signed into law and are moving forward now.
For the local governments to access.
Yes.
Okay, that's exciting too. All right, we're going to take another break, and we'll be back with Tom and beneficial electrification in Nevada.
Southwest Specialties has been making the homes and businesses of Nevada beautiful for more than 20 years. Their experienced designers and craftsmen create the walkways, backyards, water features, and a variety of outdoor cooking areas that add curb appeal and value to your investment. Call today or visit them at their website and see how they can make your outdoor spaces special. Southwest Specialties, creative, distinctive, beautiful.
Modern boutique Ahern Hotel and Events Center in Las Vegas. Host meetings and events on 2 floors. Stay in luxurious rooms and suites. Unlimited branding opportunities. Regional Italian cuisine by Chef Mark Segrisi. Flexible event spaces. Full buyout options. Visit ahernhotel.com today.
Everyone is talking about opioids, but they're not the only drugs that can be harmful if taken in large quantities or not as prescribed. You also need to be aware of side effects from anxiety drugs, muscle relaxants, sleep aids, and stimulants. Mixing prescription drugs with other drugs or alcohol can be dangerous. If you take an Ambien with a glass of wine, it may be enough to stop you from breathing. Prescribed drugs can be just as dangerous as illegal drugs. Take medications only as directed.
Hi, I'm Renee Summerauer, digital news anchor here at 7 at 7. Watch our streaming nonstop newscast immediately with your mobile phone. 7 at 7 is the new way for you to get every bit of local news you need in just 7 minutes. Breaking news, local neighborhood news, weather, and sports are just a click away. Reporters bring you all of what's happening in the Valley. From Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, YouTube, and more. Get every bit of local news you need from the RJ and LVRJ.com.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
We're back on Nevada Newsmakers with Tom Polikalas. So we're talking about the Electrify Nevada conference, May 9th, down in Las Vegas. A great opportunity for folks to find out more about what's going on with this project across the state. And you have several really interesting sponsors. It was fun to see the geothermal companies that are sponsoring. You want to just talk a little about your sponsors and the energy
thank you.
producers?
Right, and a really broad range of supporters for this event and growing. And thank you so much for getting the word out, because one of the things we want to do is let people know that we are trying to be a forum and a place where people and businesses with an interest in these technologies can come, and we can really leverage partnerships and look to work on some challenges together. So one of the major manufacturers, Dakin Comfort Technologies. I mean, they're a global manufacturer. They were top level of sponsorship along with NV Energy, which already has tremendous programs. But then we're getting into the Nevada Clean Energy Fund, as we just discussed. We've got Ioneer, the lithium mining company. We've got the Las Vegas Power Professionals, which train people on installing new technologies, particularly in the electric vehicle infrastructure space. And then working with, we're really pleased to have the support of the Nevada Professional Facility Managers Association, which is the large-scale businesses ranging from hospitals to the airport to casinos, the people that are using, the building owners and operators. And there's some tremendous opportunities to deploy, as you mentioned, geothermal heat pumps, or what's also termed a ground-coupled heat pump, where we can pull heat out of the ground in the winter using the refrigeration cycle. We can discharge heat in the summertime into the ground without using any water for evaporative cooling. And so for Nevada and the other southwestern states that are facing some severe pressures from drought and limitations on water, this is a way that we can cool our buildings without any water use. So we're taking a look, and kudos to some of the school districts. I just want to at least give a shout out to Washoe County School District has used the ground coupled heat pump in many of their schools, which is an underpublicized great job by the school district here in Washoe County. And we're trying to get information out on that technology so that if a new school is built, they can have the most energy efficient and the most cost efficient heating and cooling technology available.
That's super interesting. You just made me think of all these things right at the end of the visit. So you'll just have to come back. So a couple things really quickly. Technology in Nevada, are we working with our universities to keep working on the technology and also workforce? You've lit up this whole possibility, but everyone knows there's the workforce is a challenge right now.
Right.
So is that anything that you guys are
It's something of high
on?
concern and something that we want to address, particularly as we see demand increase, so we've got to have the workers. So that is a topic that we're working on, and particularly within the low middle income housing space. We want to be able to get workers both on the insulation and the weatherization side. We want to make them also knowledgeable about installing heat pumps and heat pump water heaters and the induction stoves. And so, there's tremendous opportunities there. We do have a website for our programs, and www.be-league.org. We are a nonprofit organization here to provide information and to look across the country for what's working and then bring it to interested stakeholders in Nevada and other states so that we can accelerate this. We see again that to the outset of our conversation that energy prices are rising. I just want to mention that what's economical now was likely to be even more economical. I don't know if this is It just is. It's not a scary thing or a forecast, but when you take a look at what we pay for natural gas in the United States, the Europeans are paying 5 and 6 times more.
Wow.
It's right. And so natural gas hasn't been an international commodity so much, but now there's liquefied natural gas facilities being the production. The U.S. is a tremendous natural gas producer, and with that price differential, it makes economic sense for them to take advantage or help relieve the high prices in Europe. So those are things that are likely to increase the price of some fossil fuels, making these electric technologies something that we should be more aware of.
So it's a great time to keep pushing. And
it's a great time for people, if you're planning to build a home or if you want to look for opportunities, if your furnace goes out, it's best to know what you want to do when the furnace goes out. And go through that research before.
Well, clearly we have a lot more to talk about. We'll just have to have you come back again. And I'm grateful that you came today, and look forward to the conference.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you very
Appreciate this
much.
great opportunity, and invite anybody that is interested to give us a call.
Very good. And we got the website.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you for joining us on Nevada Newsmakers today.
What do you count on? You count on your power every day. At NV Energy, we've always powered what's important to you, but we're not looking at the past. We're focused on the future. While our standards are high, our rates will remain low. And our commitment to renewables isn't just meeting standards, but leading the way. Because you can count on more than just your power. You can count on the company who brings it to you. That's our promise. You can count on it.
As always, you can watch Nevada Newsmakers 24 hours a day at nevadanewsmakers.com. You can also check our archive going back to 2005 on our website. Again, nevadanewsmakers.com. We'll see you on the next show.